Hello everyone, Nolan West here. The NCAA has announced that they will start the process to enhance name, image, and likeness opportunities for student athletes. I think this is a good thing, but it really means nothing. Starting the process, that should have happened years ago. And that's just a reaction to the Fair Pay to Play Act that was passed in California. And California is doing something right here. And that may sound odd coming from an elected Republican, but it's true. On September 30th, California Governor Gavin Newsom signed the Fair Pay to Play Act, and that made California the first state in the nation to allow their players to profit off of their own name, image, and likeness. Currently, the NCAA bars its athletes from receiving any compensation outside of scholarships and cost of attendance stipends. In fact, students are forbidden from even mentioning that they're a student athlete. Donald De La Haye, who he is a kicker for the University of Central, he's created a YouTube channel where he showed off his kicking talent. And when the NCAA caught wind of it, they told him he had to shut the channel down because he was advertising he was an athlete. And in response, he quit the team, and now he plays in the Canadian Football League while still managing his YouTube channel with like over 2 million subscribers. How does a situation like that benefit college sports or student athletes for that matter? It doesn't. The Fair Pay to Play Act does not change the way colleges themselves compensate athletes. Many people think it's meant to force colleges to pay their players, but that's not it at all. It merely removes the ridiculous prohibition against students going into business for themselves. The NCAA forbids these students from marketing the skills that they've spent their entire lives developing. And it doesn't cost the organization or its member universities a dime. Yet still, the NCAA threatens universities in states where this legislation is being considered. While this bill was being debated, the NCAA Board of Governors sent a letter to Governor Newsom saying, if this bill becomes law and California's 58 NCAA schools are compelled to allow an unrestricted name, image, and likeness scheme, it would erase the critical distinction between college and professional athletics because it gives those schools an unfair recruiting advantage, would result in them eventually being unable to compete in NCAA competitions. Now, why would they not be able to compete? Well, because the NCAA kicks them out. Thankfully, the California legislature correctly identified this as a bluff and pressed onward. An NCAA tournament without USC, UCLA, or Stanford just isn't going to happen. And I think the NCAA knew that when they wrote the letter. And we should be united in support for the Fair Pay to Play Act. The NCAA's current policy defies the basic free market principles at the core of our country. The NCAA's policies actively prevent students from participating in the free market, robbing not just the players of opportunity, but shortchanging all of us by stifling the ensuing economic growth it would generate. Nonetheless, folks ranging from Alabama House Majority Leader Nathaniel Ledbetter to Tim Tebow seek to deny athletes any compensation outside of scholarships. Rep. Ledbetter is understandably protective of his home state's universities. However, just like with the top schools in California, can you imagine a NCAA tournament without Alabama, a university that is placed in the top 5 of 25 out of the last 29 NCAA championships? It's not going to happen. Tim Tebow has argued that the Fair Play Act will upset the competitive balance by hurting smaller schools' recruitment. And he also claims that student athletes already receive enough in scholarships, stipends, and free travel. But neither of these arguments reflect the reality of college athletics at all. First, elite schools already dominate recruitment. 99.3% of top 100 recruits chose teams in the power conferences. And 2.6% of NCAA schools have won 60% of all men's basketball championships. The idea that the Fair Play Act would affect the competitive balance doesn't align with reality. There is no competitive balance in the first place. The elite schools already routinely dominate the competition, as we know too well in Minnesota. But not this year. Lastly, the idea that student athletes already get enough is just wrong. I mean, Would you be fine working as an employee 40 out plus hours a week for no salary just to see if you're one of the 2% who get a shot at a paying job? I doubt it. And even then, the top 2% who make it to the professional leagues don't necessarily have glorious success. I mean, they could suffer a catastrophic injury before they even hit the field. And the only thing they got from their lifetime of dedication to their sport is brain damage and a broken body. It's unacceptable that the NCAA brings in millions off the students' names, image, and likeness, but doesn't allow the students to see a dime of that. Sometimes California does do good things, and we can't let partisanship derail solid public policy. The NCAA needs to stop dragging its feet on this issue and fix this. But until that happens, we need the Fair Pay for Play Act in Minnesota. Thanks for listening to my video, and if you have any comments, questions, or think I missed something, please just let me know in the comments below. And if you have an idea for a video you want me to cover, something in Minnesota politics or really anything in general, let me know that in the comments as well. Thanks for listening.